This is Dr. Anthony Kane from the Complete Connection Parenting Program with another parenting tip for you today. Today we're going to discuss out of control, difficult to find behavior in children and teens. But I want to discuss something a little different, a different angle this time. I want to talk about children who actually have real problems like ADHD, bipolar disorder, or Asperger's syndrome, or oppositional defiant disorder, or obsessive compulsive disorder. Children who have actually concrete, real problems, behavioral problems that they cannot control. How do we view these children? Well, as I discussed in other places, bad behavior is a learned process. Children who are young throw tantrums because they don't know what else to do. They're young, they can't control their environment, they get frustrated and they have a tantrum, or they act out, or they break something. And that's their way of responding, which is inappropriate, but it's inappropriate in terms of behavior, but it's age appropriate in terms of that's what children at 2 or 3 do. As children get older, we discussed also that if the parent or the adult gives in to this bad behavior, the child learns that bad behavior is an effective way of getting what he wants, and he'll keep on using the behavior as a tool. Now, when we talk about children with ADHD or bipolar disorder or some other physiological or biological or brain-based disorder, we're not talking about this condition. We're not talking about the same thing. Because these are children who really cannot control their behavior. A child who has ADHD is inherently compulsive, impulsive, hyperactive, and he cannot control that himself. What that means is he cannot be held accountable. He cannot be blamed for it. He cannot be punished for it. And if you try to punish children who cannot control the behavior, it will damage your self-esteem, and it will not be effective at all. It will definitely be bad for the child, and it won't work. Now, that does not mean that you can let the behavior go. Because if the child's got bipolar disorder or ADHD or some other problem, he still has to exist in the world, live in the world, and the world does not care if he has ADHD or has obsessive compulsive disorder. He has to fit in, has to comply, has to obey rules. But your focus in parenting in that case is not really to punish or try to get him to control himself. It's to teach him various techniques and ways that he can control his behavior, use his behavior, or other things that will help him comply. And these children really do want to behave. They want to behave. If you ask an ADHD child, you can ask any ADHD child, what would he like about the world different? What would he change? If he changed anything in the world, what would he change? Invariably, they always say something about their ADHD and getting their behavior under control. They don't like being out of control. So with that in mind, you have to keep in mind that these children really, they don't want to behave that way and they can't control themselves, and therefore they can't be punished for it. But that's not to say that you can let the behavior go. What you have to do is find splintering skills or ways and techniques to teach them in each situation how to control their behavior. That requires extra parenting skills, requires more attention on your part, but it's something you have to do for your child. Because your child, whether he has ADHD, ODD, or other problems, behavior problems, has to learn to fit in society. And it doesn't matter whether you can control it or not, he still has to learn it. Again, this is Dr. Anthony Kane from the Complete Connection Parenting Program. If you'd like to have more parenting tips like this, please go to our website at ccparenting.com and sign up for our free newsletter, and you'll get parenting tips for both children and teens.